If you're a real estate agent that dreads cold calling and doesn't know what to say, this next video is a game changer for you. I'm breaking down the exact cold call scripts that I use to generate over 600 seller leads, build trust fast, and consistently book appraisals. It's simple and non-pushy, and it's helped me convert hundreds of conversations into listings. And at the end, we converted $4.25 million of commission in our first 3 years of selling. Let's jump into our weekly training session and go through it step by step. Today, we're just going to be running over the call scripts and just a bit more of a reminder in terms of the structure. What we're going to talk about is the structure of the calls. We're going to talk about some scripting, what do we say to close the meeting, how do we build the confidence for the clients, and how do we keep in touch with them? Because at the end of the day, volume and the points of contact is very, very important with real estate, because you don't really need the perfect scripts. You just need the right question at the right time, and then you keep in touch with that client and build that relationship. The main thing is asking the right questions, and we don't want to be saying long words, because at the end of the day, if you spend 10 minutes trying to say the same thing where you can say it within 1 or 2 sentences, wrap it up, and then move on to the next call. That's what I try and do is try get the most valuable information out of them to see if they've got any plans. And then if they've got no plans and no interest, then we just want to move over and transfer to the next client. I'm going to share my screen, and we're just going to talk through some general tips that you've probably already seen, but I'm just going to add a bit more information onto it just so that we are reminded with the call scripts over here. With the call scripts, it's very important to remember that we want to keep those calls 2 minutes or less, unless we're going to be booking the meeting. Because if we spend 5 minutes speaking to someone and they're talking about their dog and they're talking about all this other stuff, it's just a waste of time. We don't want to be talking about that. We want to get the most valuable information and move on, because our time as agents is very valuable. If you want to be $1 million agent, you need to view your time as $500 an hour time. You spend half an hour on the phone call talking to someone, you've lost $250. Unless they're a big developer and you're going to do a meeting and you're building a relationship, that's fine, but keeping those calls nice and short. The 45-minute timer, just a reminder, we want to be doing that 2 sessions every day. So we get the op timer, turn it, press start, and call. 2 is the minimum. If you're a new agent, try do 3, because 3 means you're going to get that momentum. And with that, each call session, you're going to speak to 12 to 15 people. So 15, 12, 24, 36. We're going to be doing 30 connects as that minimum through that period. With our calls, we also want to have the high energy enthusiasm in the morning. We got fresh, we got good energy, good to smile. So you can take a pen, you can hold a pen in your mouth for maybe 30 seconds like this. And then it increases that smiling atmosphere, because when you do this and you smile, then you say, hey guys, hope you're having a good day. And it sounds nice, it sounds friendly. So when you're on the call and someone calls you like, hello, Balpreet, hope you're having a great day. Just giving you a quick call to see how the plans with the property. Excellent. Have a great day, Balpreet. They're very good. So the smiling makes it sound like a friend, because people want to do business with their friends. They don't want to do business with random people. Hello, do you want to sell your property? Okay, thank you. Do you want to sell? Hey, how you doing? When I answer the call, hello, Lawrence speaking. How you doing? Very good. How's your day going? Oh, beautiful. How can I help you? So that positive atmosphere, people want to hear you. And if they're like, wow, I've had such a good call, it sounds like a very nice, friendly guy, I want to meet this person. Because the more friendly and nice we can be, the more they're like, I want to meet this person over here. Having fun speaking to people, like you can always throw things in. Oh, the day's great, beautiful day. If it's raining, oh, nice and rain, excellent day. We are interrupting their day. So the important thing is when we speak on the phone, they're going to hear you through this tiny little camera in their tiny little microphone in their phone. Some of their phones are poor quality, very poor quality, and not very good. So when we speak, we need to speak loud. We don't want to speak too soft. It's that energy that pushes up. So the most important thing with the calls is that power and energy. So when you speak, don't speak into the phone and whisper. We want to speak through the phone like the person sitting across us, because then it comes through the small speak of their phone. Maybe they've got an iPhone 11 and it's very old and they've got it on half volume. So if you speak softly, they're like, I don't know. And if someone's got a bad ear, they also can't hear you. If it's a tradie, he's in his car, it's very noisy, okay. And you're like, hello, sir, do you want to sell your property? If we're loud, powerful, then that grabs their attention, pulls their attention. Okay, yep, someone's calling me, and they are very loud and energetic. Matching the person. So we just remember, we try and match their person. We don't want to be, if it's an old lady, we don't want to be too crazy, just nice and friendly. But everyone's got their own style. So try and match their energy. I try not to ask in cold calls. I don't say, how are you doing? If it's more of a warm call, how are you doing? That's more friendly. But if it's a cold call, we can just jump right into the call. We can just say, hi, it's Lawrence from Limitless Real Estate. Hope you're doing well. The reason for the call is, and moving straight into it. Because we're going to save all that time and energy. Because if you say, how are you doing? Yep, good. You can save that time. Now, there's different styles, but you can just jump into it, because in 3 weeks' time, they're not going to remember, oh, that agent said, how am I doing? And I said, good. They're not really going to remember. They're just going to remember what their content is over there. I try not to do the virtual appraisals. So we want to qualify them properly and either do in person. We want to do face-to-face on the Zoom call. We don't want to be doing email appraisals to them unless it's a very particular case. Some clients are saying, if they're definitely selling and they're going to get 4 agents through and they're only doing virtual appraisals, then we'll make an exception. But most of the time we want to be in person, look through the property. Say, look, I haven't seen your property. I can't give you a price. If I give you a price, I'll be lying. I need to see it first. Let's have a catch up when you're free, Tuesday or Thursday, 4 or 6 p.m. Also a reminder, we don't want to tell them what we think their property is worth without seeing it or doing research. So they say, how much do you think I can get for this one? How much do you think I can get for this property? Some agents will say, look, what I see these million, maybe a million, 1.1. We can get a 1 million. And then you've let the cat out the bag. So what we want to be doing is we want to be saying, okay, let me do some research first, then we'll put that together, and then we can have a catch up and we can discuss what that price is. So every time I ask, what do you think it's worth? Then we transfer that to a meeting, because we need more face time with the clients. It's a relationship game. The more that we can connect with the clients, the more we're going to do the business. And also one last tip is, try not to go on the Relab and search up every property you're calling. If you're doing cold calling, we don't want to be doing Relab, Google, Relab, because now you've wasted 20, 30 seconds searching. You call, no one picks up the call, and now you've wasted all that time. So when we have the call list, we've got 20 people. We're just going to be call, determine if they're going to be a warm seller or not. If they're a warm seller, then we open up the Google, go to Relab, search up on Relab, and then we can look at their property information when we're taking the qualifying questions. A lot of agents waste time by going researching the property, thinking, what am I going to say? It's not too important. It's more important to just call, because sometimes 50% of them won't even pick up won't pick up the call. Cool. So that's just some rough calling notes in terms of the structure. Now we're going to talk about the Adrian Bow strategy. And now this is for general calls, like any buyer we speak to, any person we see in person. If someone's at the grocery store, if you meet someone out in the area, we want to be doing this strategy over here. So first, try and add 15 people at minimum weekly to our database that is a potential seller. And if they've got either a property or they own a property. So anyone, you got a property, cool, let's add into the database. And we want to ask every person that we speak to, do you guys own in the area? And if they say yes, you say, do you have any plans to sell in the future? Just a very quick, easy, do you have any plans to sell in the future? And I would recommend to even repeat this question, repeat that by yourself when you're in the car. Do you own in the area? Do you have any plans to sell in the future? Say this 10 times. Do you own in the area? Do you have plans to sell in the future? The more you say it, you strengthen that neural pathway in your brain, and you're more likely to remember. When you're with a client, you're thinking about this. Do you own in the area? Do you have any plans to sell in the future? Because then they're gonna determine, maybe 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. The reason we don't say, do you plan to sell in maybe 6 months' time? 6 months, they might think, no, not 6 months, but 1 year. But they'll just tell you, no plans. And now you've just wasted. They were going to sell in 7 months, but you've just cut off in 6 months' time. So that's why we say in the future. So we don't focus the short term. In real estate, we want to focus the long term. So play the long game. Are they selling in 3, 7, 12, 15 months, or even 2 years' time? I door knocked the Avis Ave property 3 years ago. I sent them 100 text messages over 3 years, gave them 3 in-person appraisals. We've listed it online, full paid marketing, $6,000. Full fees. We're going to sell it under the hammer auction. But I door knocked him 3 years ago and kept in touch with him. He says, yeah, we're thinking of doing something in the long term. Cool, let me get your number. Keep in touch with them. So the most agents are not asking the right question. And the right question is, do you have plans to sell in the future? So if they do, this is what Adrian Bowe does through his strategy is, you're planning on selling at any stage. And then regardless, he tries to just do a quick update meeting with them to say, look, always attempt in the first instance to get in front of the owner. So he just wants to get in front of them, do like a 10-minute introduction meeting. If they've got maybe some plans or something, he says, let's give you a price update on your property. It'll be 10, 15 minutes. We have a quick look through. Here's the update and move on. If they're not too keen for a face-to-face meeting, then we'll go to option 2, is we just want to put them in our database. And if we don't have their contact details, then what we're going to do is we're going to have a Trojan horse. So Trojan horse, it's like a sneaky way to get their contact details. So we're going to say, look, I'm going to send you my business card as the area expert in the mail. If you're looking to sell in the future, what's your property address? So this is for any buyer. If the buyer's, you're speaking to the buyer, oh, do you own a property? You own locally? Yep. Cool. I'm going to send you my business card in the mail. If you're going to sell in the future, what's your best address? Cool. Write down the address. Now you've got their address and their name. One last thing, when we're at the open homes, we also want to be speaking to the buyer. Say, what's your first name, last name, email? Cool. Do you guys own locally? Awesome. What's your address? And you just ask, what's your address? Because then once you've got the address, you write it in the vault notes, and then you can add them to your database of the property owner, because they might want to sell that property in the next 3 months, but they're not going to tell you at the open home, yes, I'm going to sell my property. Some people, they keep it quiet. Then you speak to them on the phone later. Yeah, we actually are going to sell our property. Cool. Very good. Nice. Excellent. So in terms of the structure, face-to-face appointments, we want to be trying doing 10 face-to-face in per week. That is the goal. And we want to be hyper-focused, be a telephone terrorist. So what this means is no distractions, ignoring other phone calls that are coming in. We're not going to speak to our vendors, no callbacks to the buyers, no current inquiries, nothing current. Every day within 45 minutes, we need to speak to potential vendors or sellers. Okay. Great. And then we're also talking through the strategy over here. So 90-day connect as a default frequency unless the client provides a reason to contact them sooner. So this is the easy system. If someone is saying, no, not going to sell it ever, not selling, no, not interested, then we say, thank you. We're going to give them a call in 3 months' time. Because in 3 months, someone's going to die, someone's going to upsize, the kids are going to get too big, or they move out their property. So we got to do that 90-day call back. So add them to 90 days, the 3-month follow-up over there. Cool. So we've got the morning calling, and then the afternoon, we need to be doing that face-to-face appointments. Okay, so we've gone through some strategy. Now we're going to talk through some scripts. So we're going to go through the scripts, and then I'm going to talk through a few more objection handling and other things to build the confidence for the client to get the meeting if that client is a potential seller. So these scripts are quite basic, and we're just going to go through the first three. Is a simple one, is just let's say there's been a recent sale in the area. It doesn't have to be your sale. It could be anyone's sale. And we're just going to say, hello, and we're also going to say the name, John. Hope you're doing well. It's Lawrence from Limitless Real Estate. The reason for the call, we had a big auction. We sold 25 Smith Street for $1 million. There's 25 missed out cash buyers. Just checking, do you have any plans in the future of selling at any time? This is good if we know they own in that suburb, and we can provide them that relevant information. If we don't know that they own a property in that suburb, then it might not be too relevant. But if we know they own, this is more if there's a good sale, like a good development property, say, look, we just sold this one in Papatei, $1.5 million. It's 25 missed out cash buys. Do you have any plans to sell in the future at any time? Cool. Then we hear what they say. We just pause and listen. They say, nope, no plans. Then we can say, okay, cool. You can always wrap up and say, look, no worries at all. Based on, and then if you don't know the property address, then we need to try find out that property address over there. Then you say, no problem. Let me just send my business card in the area as the area expert if you have any plans in the future. And then they'll provide that business card. Hopefully they'll provide their address and we can add them to our database. If they do have a plan, then we'll say, great, what's the plan? Let's try and find some more information. And we can go through the qualifying questions. So what I like to say is, look, let's give you a market update on your property. Takes about 30 minutes. How about Tuesday or Thursday, 4 or 6 p.m.? So with these, we'll go through qualifying questions as well, because it's very important to qualify. Qualify, important. The qualifying questions are essential, so we can actually know what their situation is. If they're not selling, there's no plans, we can say, no problem, when should we speak again based on your plans? And they might say, look, give me a call in 1 month time. Then we're like, okay, good, we'll call them in 1 month. If they say 6 months or 12 months time, we just call them in 3 months time. There's no worry over there. So this is just letting them know of a recent sale. Cool. Next one is the open home attendee. Let's say they've come through the open homes. We sold that property maybe 6 months ago, and we're just keeping in touch with all the open home attendees to see, do they own a property? Because if they own a property, then we can determine. So hope you're doing well. Lawrence from Limitless Real Estate. You came to our open home at this one, 24 Smith Street. Just checking, have you bought a property yet? If they say yes, then we say, excellent. Where did you buy? What's the address? Because now we can add them to our follow-up system. And if they say, no, I haven't bought one property, I'm still looking, then you want to ask, do you own any properties at the moment? Because if they do own a property, then we can add them to our potential seller database. If they do own a property, great. Do you have any plans of selling any time at the future? Or at the right price, would you consider selling? So this is another strategy. At the right price, would you consider selling? If yes, then we'll go to the qualifying questions. If they don't own a property, I just say, look, no problem. We'll keep you updated with any listings coming through. Hope you have a good day. If we're only searching for the prospecting leads, then we just wrap up. If they're a buyer, we're going to send them a text message. If there's any recent properties for sale, we'll send them a text, we'll send them an email, and we'll send them some information regarding their property if they're looking to purchase. So if they don't own a property, we just I just move on and say, let's just try find some more potential sellers. If they're a hot buyer and they need to sell property to buy one, then we might do some extra work. Let's try find them a property, get their property that they like, then we'll sell their property so you get the double deal over there. Okay, cool. Another recent sale one, very similar as the last one. The reason for Lawrence from Limitless Real Estate, the reason for the call, we just sold 38 Kenyon-Slade Road, 6-bedroom home at auction, $1.2 million. We've got 30,000 over the reserve. We're just checking at the right price. Would you guys consider selling? Or do you have any plans to sell in the future? Do you have any plans at any time in the future with selling? Cool. So that's just more of a basic one over there. Next thing we can do is talking about, okay, there's a few more over here. Booking the meeting, script 3, basic. Okay, now this script is from Hannon Cowley. Now, Hannon Cowley wrote $1 million commission in his first year just by using this script. So every morning he sat down, he did 50 outbound calls, 50 in the morning before any other calls. No warm calls, no vendor calls, no buy calls. All he did was, hey, it's Hannon Cowley from the real estate. Hope you're doing well. The market's really busy with buy activity right now. We're just checking at the right price. Would you consider selling? Very basic. He says, look, it's a low success rate. It's a 1%, 2% success rate, but it will get you listings quickly because it just cuts the chase. He said he'll do 50 outbound. So he'd speak to 25 people every day. 25, same question, 25. So you times that by 5 times, that's 125 people you speak to in 1 week. Maybe you'll get 2 or 3 of them are like hot sellers. You'll meet up with 2 of them. You sign 1 listing. 1 listing times 46 listings. That'll be $1 million GCI. So asking the very basic question over here, short, sharp. So that's one strategy. If you don't know their details, you know they own a property, you just want to keep it quick. That's one really quick one over there. Okay, excellent. So I'll give you access to all of these over here now. So those are we've talked about the cold calling scripts of the recent sale. We've said at the right price, would you consider selling? And we've also got the buyer call script just to call back the buyers just to check if they bought one or they haven't bought one and to try get their address. There's also the next call script is more the follow-up call script. So if we just take these off the screen for a moment and we just talk about the person wants to sell and we've done the script, we find out they're selling maybe in 6 months' time, Then we want to ask qualifying questions about them and try to find out the situation. So we get their situation. Okay, they're going to move here. They're moving to Botany. They're getting this 4-bedroom. They're doing some renovation. We need to write those notes somewhere, either on the notes on the phone or on your spreadsheet. Because when we call them again in 1 month time, they won't know who you are. They forgot that we spoke, but you can say, hey, Balpreet, good to chat with you. Just letting you know, or just checking to see how's the renovation going. Have you found any properties in Botany yet? Now we've got common ground. If we can just talk to them about their situation that they told us about, they remember, okay, this guy knows my situation. They can talk a bit more. But if we're just going to say, how's your plans for selling? Are you selling your property now? Then they say, oh, this guy maybe is a random cold call. I don't know who this guy is. But if you say, oh, how's the plans going to Botany? It's more of like a friend checking in. So that's the warm follow-up. Once we've identified, maybe over the week we get 5 warm people, we're going to follow up those people, and we need to follow up, build a little story about them. This is where they're moving, this is how it's going. Can we give them a tradie to do help renovation? Can we help them with staging? Can we help them with this? Can we send some property every week, maybe send them 2 or 3 options to keep in touch, provide value. The more value we can get, the more likely they're wanting to work with us. So with our call scripts through the day, we're going to have the cold calls, which is the low success. You're going to get rejected. There's going to be maybe 20 rejections, reject. Maybe there'll be 2 or 3 people are going to be warm. And then you're going to have our warm calls. Maybe you're going to speak to 5 people in the day. That's just going to be the warm follow-up to nurture them. And then those warm calls, they're also going to get your text message every week. So they're going to know who you are once you text them every week. So 4 weeks later, they've already got a text message at least 4 times from you over there. Very good. So those are the 2 strategies, the warm and the cold call. Once you've spoken to them once already, then it's only one call. Now, when we want to increase the chance of meeting them, we need to try and increase their perception or value of us. They must think, wow, this person's quite a good agent, or they've got a good team. I want to meet with them because they're professional. It's not just a random person. So what we can talk about is the team strategy, the team listings. So we've got different one-liners to tell them that our team is great. And we don't need to say all of them. Sometimes we throw 1 or 2 of them in just to increase there. You can say, look, they're like, oh yeah, look, our team, we did 80 auctions last 12 months. So we've done 80 auctions. We're very busy. Then we go on to the next part of talking, trying to book the meeting. We say, look, currently we're getting 76% success rate at auction. So they say, oh, the market's low, very bad, can't sell. Look, we're getting 76% at auction. Let's give you an update. We sell 30,000 over the owner's expectations on average. If they say, oh, the prices are very low, we can say, look, prices are still 20% more than 2019. They're still premium market compared to 2019, which is good. And then we also say, look, if you sell a bit lower today, you're going to buy a bit lower. So those are just small one-liners over there. When let's say we're talking to the client and we really want to try close them. We want to close that meeting. We want to solidify it. Now you can just say, let's do a meeting. We want to meet up with you. So that's quite a hard way. It's like a hard close. Some people don't like the hard close. They want a bit more softer, relaxed. So what I like to say is, look, what we can do, we can give you a price update on your home, bring through some recent sales in the area of recent sold to help you make better decisions in the future. So we're not asking to sign a listing. So what we can do, give you a price update on your home, bring through some recent sales to help you make better decisions in the future. If they're going to move somewhere, we say, look, and I'm going to print out a list of all the Botany sales. I'm going to print out a list of all the 4-bedroom Botany sales so you can see the prices, what they're going for. So they're like, oh, thank you. Now they can see the prices for Botany. They can see their home price. They can work out the difference, and we send them to mortgage broker. Then we can help their plan. We can also say, look, I'd love to meet you, put a face to the name, and provide you with a market update on your home. If they're not too keen to meet, they're like, no worries. I try not to say, should I give you a call in 2 months' time or 3 months' time? Because we want to get a date from them. It's better to ask them for the date. Say, based on our conversation, when should I call you next? When should I give you a call next? And then they might say, oh, give me a call in 3 weeks' time. Then you're like, okay, this guy wants to speak in 3 weeks. If he says 3 weeks, maybe we'll call him in 2 weeks' time. I don't want to wait 3 weeks. Maybe wait 2 weeks. Give him a call. Make it shorter. And I've also done some other notes with our other team members when we're doing call training. So these are the one-on notes I've done with Akash. So when they're talking about their property, we've done this renovation, we've done the 3 bedrooms, we've got some car parking. We can say, wow, that's good. That's awesome. Very good. So we always want to be exclaiming about excellent, good, fantastic, beautiful. because then when they hear that, they're like, oh, well, this guy thinks my property is good. So that we're going to be excited about their property. Another strategy, if they say, look, give me a price on the phone, we can just say, look, the market's changing a lot. We need to see your property first to give you an accurate price. I need to have a look first because otherwise I'm lying. We can say, look, I'm going to do an hour of research, put together the research. Have you got 20 minutes of your time for us to go through it? I'll print out all the recent sales. You'll find it very, very valuable. So you say, I'm going to do all this work on the background, but if I do this work, can you give me 20 minutes of your time? We might not spend an hour, but we might spend an hour, depending. We're going to spend an hour spending time with them. Also, another note is if we do know they own a property, let's say they own one at 24 Burundi, we might say their name and also their property name. Hey, John, hope you're doing well. Just thought I'd check in with your 24 Burundi. Do you have any plans to sell in the future? Because now they know, okay, this guy knows I own a property, they know my name, and it's more common interest because we know information about them. Other things we can say to build the confidence, we can say, look, we're getting 5 bidders on average at our auctions. We can say, look, we've got a team of 6 to help you get sold. We've got a team of 6 agents. We can say, they say, oh, you're a small company. Why would we want to go with you guys? We can say, look, 30% of our listings sell with other agencies, with Ray White, Barfoot. We work conjunctions with everyone. So when you list with us, we allow any other agent to bring their buyer. So you're actually listing with all the other agents at once. We will go a step further to text and call all the other agents around to see if they have buyers to bring through. And the reason with this strategy, we get 4.5 bidders at the auction on average. Those strategies in terms of that conjunctional sale, I mean, most people do conjunctional anyway, but if we emphasize it, then it gives the clients, it gives them more confidence. Let's just talk a little bit more about the mindset. We want to talk about the thought process and mindset about selling property. The one thing to remember is that only 3.7% of people are going to sell their property in the next 12 months. 3.7. So when you're on the cold call, you need to speak to 100 people. Only 3.7 are going to sell their property. Maybe 6 will list their property online, but only 3.7 are going to actually sell. So it means that when we speak to the clients, you need to speak to 37 people just to get 1 potential seller in the next 12 months. So if we do a cold calling for the day and I speak to 5 people or 10, maybe I haven't even spoken to 1 potential seller. The key is always to try and find out who's potential seller and keep in touch with those maybe 10% of people, because the other 90% we just want to leave them, keep them in a 3-month follow-up. And the thought process of potential sellers, a lot of agents, they really struggle with this thing, is that they struggle to find out who's the hot lead that is going to sell or not sell. So when I first joined, I did 200 appraisals my first 5 months, and I didn't sell any properties because I was doing appraisals on the wrong people. I was doing appraisal here, thinking they were selling. I thought everyone was going to sell, but I was doing appraisals on the wrong people. I didn't identify the motivation. The motivation is the key. That's the magic, because the motivation beats everything in real estate. So these are the top reasons why people sell. If someone's dead, they're going to sell. Upsizing. They're going to upsize. The family is definitely, they have to move. They're up to school. When do you have to move? We have to move by April next year. We have to move. School zone. The school starts next year, April. We have to move. Moving out the area. The job. We got a job in Australia. We're selling. We have to sell. Debt mortgage. Can you hold on? I say, can you hold on another 1 year? No, we can't hold. We have to sell. Debt's too high. Divorce. We're splitting up. I hate them. Moving with the family. The very low success rate is, when I get the right price, I'll think about doing something. If I get 1 million, I'll sell. If I get 1 million, then you say, what's your plan? I've got no plan. I'm not. If I get that price, then I sell. So those people, a lot of people would tell you that thing, but it's just a waste of time to work with those people because there's no strong reason. People don't sell just because they want to, but they sell because they're going to fix that problem. They're mainly moving because there's pain. There's pain from the death, pain from the family upsizing, it's too small. Pain because they want to move to a bigger home, it's tiny. Pain from the debt, pain from divorce. Or maybe the aspirational, we want to get a bigger lifestyle home. That's the aspirational time over there. A lot of people say, look, I want to sell my property, Clarendon Park, 3-bedroom, and I want to move to Howick and I want to sell my property for 1 million and move to Howick and buy one for 1 million. And it says the prices don't work, mate. It's a waste of your time. So a lot of people want to sell their terrible property and buy the nice premium one in there. Everyone wants to do that. I want to do it. Everyone wants to do it. But us as agents, we need to be like, this is your price. This is what it's worth. Can your mortgage afford it? Is it worth it? Oh, we don't want to get more mortgage. Okay, well then maybe it's a waste of time. And another thing I like to ask them is to say, if you don't get your right price, could you stay there another 1 or 2 years? Can you live there another 1 or 2 years? They might say, we need to get this sold. They're not going to say, I'll sell it for any price, but they're just going to say, we're not going to wait 1 or 2 years. No, we're selling. So that's a very good qualifying question is, can you wait another 1 or 2 years? No, we don't. We don't want to wait. No. Some people say, yes, easy. I'm going to wait 1 or 2 years. Then you realize, okay, this guy we need to give him an appraisal that's very accurate, because if we give it accurate, then we're not going to waste our time if we list it, because it's definitely going to sell. Because sometimes with appraisal ranges, you pump it up a little bit if we want to get the listing, because you know that they're going to sell anyway. So there's within reason. So let's just talk about the qualifying questions now. But qualifying questions is what we want to ask the clients to best help them, because if we don't ask these before the meeting, we're going to waste all of our time. So I want to ask, I have a shortcut on my phone. I've got the app Boards, type in Boards, and it has an automatic text shortcut. If you don't want to get Boards app, then you can do the text replacement on your phone. You type text replacement and you write out all the qualifying questions, maybe some short ones, and then you'll be able to. So I'll just show you over here, Boards. Boards. So this is Boards. You can get it on your phone, and you can get it on your web. And these are the text replacements over here. So if I want to book if I've got my qualifying questions, I click on this. I click on one button, and this would type on my notes on my phone. So these are all the prompts. So when I when I'm booking the appraisal, I'll put this on my phone, and then the motivation, I'll say, okay, what's your plan? Where you moving to? You upsizing, downsizing, moving to a school zone, renovations. How many have you done renovations on your property? How many bedrooms do you have? Because sometimes Property Smarts or Relab's wrong, or they've done a new build. So how many bedrooms? Okay, cool. When you've sold, where are you moving to? That's a very good question. Time frame. Is this 1 month, 6 months? What time frame you're working with? Have you decided to appoint an agent or other agents? So that's kind of one question. But you say, look, are you getting other agents in? Okay, yeah, we're getting 2 agents. You're the 3rd agent. Okay, this guy's a hot seller. We need to follow up with him. Don't let them go. All decision makers. Will all decision makers be at the meeting? So I say, who owns the property? Is it just yourself? No, my wife owns it. My son owns it. Okay, cool. When are you all free? That's very important. When are you all free for a catch up in the afternoon or on the weekend? Because we don't want to meet with just the husband and then he says, no, I need to speak to my wife. I need to speak to my son. I need to speak to all them. And then you don't get the listing because the wife has met another agent and the wife says, I like the other agents. I've met him. You've met the other guy. Let's go with this guy. He's okay. And then you lose the listing because you didn't meet the wife. Because the husband says, I'm happy with this agent or this one. And he says, look, honey, who do you like? Because I don't mind either. And she says, I like this one. And then you've lost the listing because you haven't met the wife. Because that sometimes happens. Or you haven't met the son. So all decision makers is the key. We really need to try. We say, look, it's very good if all players are on the playing field. Because by all players on the playing field, when are you both free? Because there might be questions from either side that we can discuss. I write down the CV and then I say, what's your dream price? What's the golden price? Or based on any sales you've seen in the area, what price are you aiming towards? They might say, no, you're the agent. You tell me. I'm like, cool, we'll do that and I'll catch up. Or they'll tell you the price. How much debt do you have? Do you have a mortgage? How much mortgage is left? Oh, we got mortgage free. Okay, now I know this guy's got some money. He can spend some money. Oh, yeah, I bought it 2021. Mortgage is still 800K. The property's only worth 850. Okay. Then if, let's say his mortgage is 800, property's only worth 850, what I tell him is say, look, real estate fees and selling costs could be 30K. So 800 plus 830. So you've only got 20K if you sell your property. Have you got other savings? No other savings. No, nothing. I've only got 20K in my hand after that. Okay, I don't think you can buy another home after that. Is that all right? And he says, no, don't want to do that. Cool. now it's probably best not to do an appraisal on this guy because he's got no money. And then I say, look, I'm going to send you an email with the agency agreement, my vendor report example, and some selling tips. So those are the qualifying questions. I've just written them out a bit more detailed so you can read through. This is the more detailed over here. Will decision makers be there? Do you work full time? When would you both be free? In the evenings, the weekends? Are you free Tuesday, Thursday, 2 p.m., 4 p.m.? So I asked, do you work full time? Okay, cool. When do you free evenings or weekends? Please send me your full name and email address. We'll send you some documents. We'll send them a calendar invite. Cool. And then I said, look, I'll send you a text message now to confirm and an email calendar invite. I'll say, looking forward to meeting you later in the week. Hope you have a great day. So that's really good to just be that friendly person right at the end. And then in the calendar, I like to write out the calendar. This is what I type in the calendar. I type in the map, market appraisal. I type in the property address. I type in the owner's full name and I type their phone number. And I put their email in the calendar as well. Because now when I'm looking on the calendar, I can give them a call quickly. I look at their name and I can add any other associates to them. And I try not book my meetings in the mornings because you book it at 9 a.m., then that goes to 10:30. You get to the office, you have a coffee, 11:30 p.m., 11:30 a.m., then you've done no phone calls the whole day. And then you do some other stuff. So we try and make structure in the first half of the day from that 9 a.m. to 12. It's structured. Warm calls, cold calls, follow-ups. Then we do 12 p.m., free for all. We do the emails, we're doing this, we're doing the meetings, we're trying to meet with people, we're doing all these other tiny things that happen through real estate is quite common. And then on the boards I've also got, so I can send you this one, but we send this as a text message once we've booked the appraisal. We'll say, text them, hi, good to speak with you, confirming our appointment at this address. Looking forward to working together with you. Click our team profile video. I made a little video, or you can put your Rate My Agent link over here. Please click our seller and buyer reviews, and it goes to Rate My Agent or goes to the website. Regards, Team Lawrence. We can provide these, I can share these as templates. If you get the Boards app on your phone, I can click share and you can get copies of this, and then you just got a copy, and then you can make a copy of it on your own board. And once you've made the copy, you can add it to your own style. So this is, I think it's about $100 for the year, but I've got ones for the just listed. We've got ones for, there's open home ones, there's vendor auction videos. So we've got the auction bidder. There's a few other stuff. We won't go into too much of this stuff, but over here. So just as a summary, we've talked about the structure of the calls. We've talked about booking in the times, two every single day, the call sessions minimum, and then the accountability over here. So let's just do one last thing on the accountability. So every day, team, let's just do a reminder. Just shoot me a quick text with the numbers, because that's really important, because we can work the whole day, and if we don't keep accountable with our numbers or enter them, then it's going to be quite difficult to improve your success. The toughest part, the once we've got that habit of texting through our numbers, then we're going to be able to see, okay, yep, I need to text my numbers. Let me do my call session today. Once we're in the office, we can get a whiteboard up over here, do some lines, and we can just write the numbers for each day.